Again, as always, with the stock of the day. So its cybersecurity advisor, Madient, says that there has been evidence of unauthorized access to a hosted exchange service that hosts accounts for IINet and WestNet business customers. So this is up to 15,000 email accounts of businesses. It's basically an email server that has been breached, and it looks as if this actor, this hacker was in search of customer cryptocurrency and financial information. So here's a look at the impact of that on the share price in the immediate moment. So down by about 4.5% today, close to 5%. But you've got to say that if you look at Medibank, in its experience with a cyber attack, obviously very, very different, but still, this was a prolonged pressure coming through on the share price. And putting TPG Telecom in context, it hasn't really been a great year for the company regardless. So with all of that in mind, I thought that we would speak with Henry and Andrew about TPG Telecom. Henry, start with this looming threat to all listed companies of a cyber attack, and just how aware investors need to be as to the dangers that are posed.
Well, Nadine, I must admit, I'm starting to take this a little bit personally. I'm an Optus customer. I'm also a Medibank Private, and I also have IINet. So I think they're actually targeting me. So I'm starting to take this a little bit personally. I guess the big takeaway, and this has come from Optus, of course, and Medibank Public, as it's probably should be better called, is that everybody has to take this very, very seriously. And let's face it, the criminals tend to be one step ahead of the people trying to protect our data, and those sort of protections is probably one step ahead of government regulations and ASX requirements. So it is a challenging landscape, I would imagine, in cybersecurity at the moment. I'm no cybersecurity expert. We do have a number of players in the space in Australia, most of which have responded pretty badly to this sort of pickup in cyber hacks. I guess part of the reason is, we're supposed to be protecting this stuff, and these companies are supposed to be protecting this stuff, and it looks as if to some extent they are not. It's a bit suboptimal. They're not actually doing what they're supposed to do. So I think everyone has to take it very seriously. Clearly with TPG, there's other issues at place here. The stock has had a pretty an annus horribilis for 1 year that probably they should probably forget. As I say, I am an IINet customer, so interestingly, I got offered on Black Friday an offer to cut my NBN service and take up a 5G modem, and that would be $20 cheaper for the same amount of data, which I did take up. So that is interesting. I guess they're trying to chop out the NBN, which of course has a fixed fee that these guys charge. Can't get excited about TPG. Probably get more excited about Medibank Public, to be honest, in this space. But yeah, at the moment, TPG not on my radar, I have to say, and this will just damage them a little bit, not a huge amount. It's a flesh wound, as they would say in Monty Python.
Okay. What do you make of the stock of the day, Andrew? TPG Telecom.
Yeah, just to Henry's point around listed companies, investors absolutely need to be aware of it. I serve on a couple of boards, and it's now become a standalone agenda item around cybersecurity. What investment needs to be made, what tests are we doing, that type of thing. So certainly it is front of mind. In the context of TPG, certainly as we just saw on the chart there, it hasn't been a happy year for them. And they're pretty expensive. They're trading at around 35 times earnings relative to Telstra, which is, obviously the behemoth, at only 24 times. So not great for the 15,000 businesses whose email addresses have been compromised. It's certainly not on the scale of Medibank or Optus, of course. That's a low benchmark. But it is at best a hold, Nadine. At
best a hold. So look, not a ringing Go ahead. Did somebody say something? No, that was feedback. Okay, so that is not a ringing endorsement of TPG